Okay, we're back in the shop today. Got my hilux in the air. I got the total Chaos Idler Arm. And before I change that out, I'm going to talk a little bit about what's wrong with the factory setup when you lift it and put oversized tires on, and what Total Chaos did to fix this problem. As you can see here, this is a aftermarket replacement idler arm with a homemade support bracket that runs from the top bolt here down the idler arm, because I kept bending the idler arm at the lower portion of the shaft right here. Now there's a couple of good threads on the internet, I'll put a link in the description down below, of what the strongest aftermarket stock style replacement idler arm is and where to buy it, and confirming that you have the strong one after you purchase it, because sometimes AutoZone, Napa, CarQuest will change suppliers, and in one box is a good part, another box is a poorly made part. The second problem area is over here on this joint. It doesn't hold the center link from rotating, which on a stock vehicle isn't a problem, because the tie rods aren't heading downhill like this. They're going to be running almost parallel with the center link. So since both of my tie rods are pointing up at an angle like that, and they are mounted to the back of the center link, it causes the center link to pivot between the pitman arm and the idler arm on the other side. As you can see, the other side is barely moving, and I have a good inch of deflection on this tire before the slop is taken up out of the steering. Now a little bit of this is caused by the play that is in the idler arm. The rest of it is in the rotation of the center link. So right there you can see the amount of movement I have in the bushings of the idler arm. And here you can see how much that movement is caused by the center link pivoting on the idler arm and pitman arm. Now here's the Total Chaos Idler Arm. They call it the Caddy Idler Arm. I purchased this one through Off-Road Warehouse because they could get it to me the fastest, and I have a little over a week to get my rig ready for vacation on down to Overland Expo. Now what they did with this is they made it a double shear design, which is similar to what the aftermarket support bracket accomplishes. It distributes the load onto the pin down here, but also the pin up here. But this does not correct the bushing problem inside. Most of these have a plastic bushing. There's a guy on the internet that makes brass bushings for them if you have the correct idler arm. But you can see the sheer size of the pin, the bushings, everything's nicely welded. The strength here in this arm compared to just this flat bar. And then where I think I'm going to gain the most out of this, instead of having a ball pivot at the end of the idler arm, it has a double stacked bearing. This bolt goes through it, attaches to the center link, and there is no deflection once all this is tight that center link is not going to pivot back and forth like it is currently. That's going to hold my steering, my toe, in line through all of my wheel travel instead of deflecting the center link, causing toe in and toe out, which I think is one of the big reasons my tires were cupping so badly. This is the back side of the bracket. They added on this support, which I'll have to look and see. I'll probably have to trim up my bumper bracket because it's covering the hole that will be used. And really my bumper bracket is just a piece of angle iron I threw up there. So all that material isn't needed anyways because it's not attached. And this bracket that I'm removing has maybe 5,000 miles on it. And it's already worn out in the plastic bushings. Now this kit does require drilling out the center link for this bolt. I believe the instructions said 5/8. I'll double check it and I will drill that out. Now the instructions say to remove this from the vehicle before you drill it. The goal is to get the drill bit to go through this perpendicular with the mounting surface, because the idler arm is going to be fixed to the top of this. You want the bolt going straight through. And then it says to file the top of it flat. So I'm just going to take a whiz wheel, clean it up, and see if I need to file it down. Now the factory tow hooks mount up here. The bolt that this idler arm bracket is going to bolt to is here, which normally is not used. So if you can see, the threads are dirty, corroded up. Total Chaos recommends using some brake clean and a wire brush to clean that out. I've got a tap, so I'm just going to run a tap through it. Spray a little oil. That way I know I have clean threads. Now these are going to be 10 millimeter by 1.25. Now there's a bolt, a spacer, washer, and a nut. The bolt will go down through there. Spacer, and then the center link. The nut is a lock nut, but they do recommend checking the torque on this and the pivot bolt occasionally. First at 100 miles and then every so often after that. I'm going to throw the tire back on and see if it made an improvement in the amount of deflection. Now there is very little in and out deflection. Replacing this will change your toe a little bit because it may not be at the same angle as your original idler arm. Plus, if your old idler arm was loose and sloppy like mine was, then more than likely the original alignment was not done correctly because the tires are allowed to do this during the alignment. So make sure to get the alignment redone after that. I'm going to go modify the bracket so I can bolt my bumper back up. If you guys like this video, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, share it on your favorite forum, and if you have any questions, put them down in the comments below.